At the time of recording this video, there are over 200 shadow Pokemon in Pokemon Go, so it can be a little bit jarring to figure out which ones you want to focus on, farming up for future Team Rocket takeover events, and which ones you should TM when the time comes for you to TM frustration away. So to make things a little bit more simple for you, I decided to make a shadow Pokemon tier list with a focus on Great League and Ultra League PvP. What about the best shadows for raids, Ryan Swag? When it comes to the raid meta, it's pretty straightforward which shadows are good and which shadows aren't. You can just look at, PokeBattler.com and see which ones are on the top, or you can go to the DPS TDO spreadsheet on GamePress and sort by type and see which ones are on the top. It's pretty straightforward. When it comes to PvP, things are a little bit more complicated, so this tier list here help you sort through that. And if you're curious about Master League PvP, not a whole lot of shadow Pokemon really stand out in Master League PvP. Some can, but then they're also burdened by the fact that they need like IV checkoffs and stuff like that. So it's a completely different animal kind of. So I'm focusing on Great League and Ultra League here so I can actually release this video. Also, I look a little bit different in this video because I recorded this video like a week ago and didn't have time to post it until now. So enjoy. And as far as like a good list of which shadow Pokemon are available in the game right now, I think the Sylph Road has one that they update fairly frequently. So yeah, link to the description to this page here so you can see which Rocket Pokemon are available in the game, because if they're not available, then like you can't find them to frustration TM. So kind of rough there. But yeah, link in the description to this. At any rate, let's get into it. Now, as far as the tiers go, we got S tier, which is very meta, so definitely for sure shadow Pokemon you want to have ready. A is good to have. Often these shadow Pokemon are decent performers in PvP. B is useful enough. Not exactly a top performer, but comes up often enough where it's a good Pokemon that you're probably going to want to invest in it. C is Meme Town, where it's like they're not good, but in the right context they can be really good, kind of like a spice pick Pokemon to throw off your opponent. And then D is probably bad, and I already cut out a ton of shadow Pokemon. There's only like 24 or 28 here, so it's not like there's a lot of bad shadows out there that aren't included. There may be some very okay shadows that I don't have included either, so my bad on that. But yeah, it is what it is. And then we got the shadows here by alphabetical order, so yeah. So starting out, we have Abomasnow here. And yeah, Abomasnow, S tier, very meta, very powerful Pokemon in the Great League, one of the topmost picks in both the Ultra League and Ultra League Premier Cup. So yeah, no doubt about it. Try to look for a good IV spread on the Abomasnow, the very low attack stat. I think for the Ultra League, as long as you have like a less than 6 attack stat there, then that's the money maker right there. That's the one you're going to want to dive big into for the Ultra League. Then we got Shadow Ampharos here, and I love Ampharos in the Ultra League, as many of you are aware, but I'm gonna have to put it in the probably bad tier. I've done a lot of Ampharos simulations for the Ultra League over the years here, basically, and I really do like the base Ampharos for the Ultra League. But I feel like the Shadow definitely loses a lot of the positives that Ampharos has going on. It doesn't really need the extra damage output, so I feel like it's probably bad. I might be having a bad call here, especially for the Ultra League Premier Cup. It might be a little bit better there, but I'm really not feeling it. Then we got Bayonet here. I'm going to give Bayonet a B. Useful enough, because this Pokemon doesn't come up that often, but I have seen Caleb Pang do some really interesting stuff with it as a pure Ghost-type Pokemon with that aggressive shadow damage. So it's not very meta, but under the right circumstances, I feel like it could be really good, and it is useful enough as is, so I'm going to give Bayonet a B. Next up, we got Beedrill. And I'm going to put Beedrill here squarely in Meme Town. It is a good Pokemon. You do need its Community Day attack, Drill Run, for it to really be good in Great League PvP. But even then, even with the Community Day attack, it's not that high of a performer. So maybe in the right cup or the right limited format circumstances, it could be pretty good. Or in the right team, it could get ahead. But I feel like at base value, Shadow Beedrill isn't really all that. It could be useful to Elite TM it, so when the Community Day evolution event thing happens in Pokemon Go again, then you can have it ready for the one day that it might actually be good. Next we have Blossom. I'm going to put Blossom in probably bad. It is a Shadow Razor Leafer, but there are other Shadow Razor Leafers that are kind of doing the job. a bit better. So it's like out of all the different Shadow Razor Leafers that you could have, I feel like Blossom's kind of like lower on that list there. So I'd say out of them all, this is probably your lowest priority as far as a Shadow Razor Leaf goes. Next up, we got Shadow Credilly. I'm going to put Shadow Credilly here in Meme Town just because I've seen Credilly do some interesting stuff on its own over the years here in PvP, and the Shadow one might be able to do stuff a little bit more interesting. I don't have a lot of experience with Shadow Credilly, so I can't say it for sure there, but I think if you've got a lot of charge TMs to spend, you might want to put one on one of these guys, is all I'm saying. Then we got Shadow Dnare. I'm going to say Shadow Dnare is useful enough. Put it as the B tier, just because Shadow Dragon Breath damage can be enough to get through a lot of things, and we just had a limited format where Shadow Dragonair was pretty decent, so definitely good B tier Pokemon. Next up is Shadow Dragonite. I'm going to put it S tier. Definitely S tier, specifically for the Ultra League Premier Cup. This Pokemon can be really aggressive there. I believe it beats out the Empoleon, where the normal Dragonite fails, and then it's got that early Dragon Claw to make it like super aggressive, super deadly in the Ultra League Premier Cup there. And then in the Great League, it is kind of an interesting spice pick and can be even better in limited formats because, Dragon Breath, Shadow with the Dragon Claw, really nice. So if you can get your hands on a good rank one, like a good PvP IV one, yeah, definitely Shadow Dragonite, really good Pokemon. Next up, we got Shadow Dusclops. And I'm going to put Shadow Dusclops, man, it's riding between Meme Town and probably bad. Because, I'll put it in Meme Town. Because it can do some interesting stuff. It is really fast with its charge moves, but its charge moves are all punches. And even with the Shadow bonus, they do hit a little bit too lightly. But I feel like under the right circumstances, it could be a really annoying Pokemon to face. So I'm going to put it in Meme Town there. Next up, we got Shadow Evire. And I'm going to say Shadow Electivire is useful enough. It comes up pretty often in basic like PvPoke simulations, like those lists where it's like, yeah, this thing can be good. It's got aggressive, wild charge damage going on. More often than not, it doesn't actually show up in practice. I don't really see a lot of Shadow Electivires running around, but I can see the potential there. So I'm going to say it's useful enough. So it like resists everything that Galad has. So Galad hates seeing this thing. And then big confusion damage is pretty good in the Ultra League Premier Cup altogether. So if you do find a good one of these, I think it's definitely good to have. Then we got Shadow Flygon. Shadow Flygon definitely rides the border between useful enough and Meme Town. I'm going to say that I'd say it's useful enough. Useful enough. At least to have the frustration off of it, maybe so you can get Earth Power on it in the future with an evolution event. It could be good to have. Flygon has done really well for me in the Great League. Shadow Flygon can be a bit more aggressive, so I could see it working out. Then we got Shadow Fortress here, and I'd say Shadow Fortress is good to have if you've got one. It's definitely not like a top of the line meta Pokemon for sure, but this thing can show up in the Great League and just completely wreck you. And then on top of that, it also has the like, what moves does it actually have kind of situation going on? Is it using Mirror Shot? Is it using Sand Tomb? Is it carrying Earthquake? So it's definitely a threatening Pokemon. You never really know exactly what moves it has. And every time you shield a Mirror Shot or a Sand Tomb, it definitely feels bad, and it feels even more threatening when that happens. So I'd say Fortress is definitely good to have if you can get a good one. Then we got Shadow Galad here. I'd say Shadow Galad, I'm going to have to put it in the good to have tier as well. I mean, probably better to have Shadow Galad than to have these two Pokemon. This isn't going to be ranked out by like who's more important or not, but I'd say Shadow Galad definitely good. I don't really see Shadow Galad doing a whole lot more than what normal Galad does in the Ultra League Premier Cup there, but that more aggressive damage from a Pokemon that's known for being a glass cannon definitely can come in handy in the right team comps there. So I'm going to say it's good to have. Definitely not as meta as these two guys are, but a very solid Pokemon. Next up, we got Shadow Gardevoir, and I'm going to put Shadow Gardevoir into the B tier. Useful enough. It's a solid Pokemon. You got the Shadow Charm damage going on. But I feel like it's a little bit too glassy, But if you are doing like a charm team, it could come in handy kind of thing going on there. I think as a Shadow Charmer, it is generally worse than the Shadow Granbull that just recently released. And yeah, for that reason, I'm going to put it in the B tier there. Next up, we got Shadow Gloom. And Shadow Gloom is a tankier Razor Leaf user for the Shadow Razor Leaf users. But I feel like overall it's probably bad. The other Razor Leafers are going to take a little bit more of a priority over Gloom. So, you know, if you want a variety of Shadow Razor Leaf to choose from, why not? But I'm going to put it in the D tier. Then we got Shadow Golbat. I'm going to put Shadow Golbat into the meme town. It's definitely not bad. You know, you got Shadow Wing attack damage. The poison thing is actually decent enough in a lot of situations. And the Shadow Ball is freaking Shadow Ball, man. But I don't really see it doing a whole heck of a lot, you know, general meta-wise, where the things above it, they can kind of function decently enough in the general meta. So, yeah, meme town for this guy. Then we got Shadow Grotel. And I'm going to put Shadow Grotel into the A tier. Good to have. Because this is the Shadow Razor Leafer that paired with the Shadow Victory Bell for like the OG Grasshole team. So definitely good to have it. What makes it stand out from other Shadow Razor Leaf Pokemon is that it's got the Body Slam. So it has that neutral early charge attack. I know this guy's got like Leaf Blade, I think. Leaf Blade is generally better than Body Slam, but Body Slam has different coverage. So I think that's overall what puts the Grotel on top here. And I think Grotel might be a bit tankier too. So definitely A tier, good to have. Next up, we got Shadow Gyarados. And I'm going to say Shadow Gyarados is B tier. Useful enough. I haven't seen a whole lot of Shadow Gyarados in my days. Usually normal Gyarados is a bit better. But I'd say it's useful enough to have. Next up, we got Shadow Hitmonchan, and this Pokemon also rides the border of B and C, but I'm going to give it a B. I'm going to say it's useful enough, just because this Pokemon can definitely rip through your team in the Great League if you're not prepared for it. It's just really annoying, and then you never really know what charge move it has, so it has that mysterious charge move thing going on. So yeah, really annoying a Pokemon that can really throw you off. So it's a little bit more than a meme, because it does show up pretty often in the general meta. Then we got Shadow Hypno here. Shadow Hypno is going to be S tier. Very meta, definitely good to have. The bulkier you can have it, the better. But if you don't have like a super good IV spread on it, just having a Shadow Hypno is very good, very nice. I've been using Shadow Hypno almost exclusively over the other Hypno for a lot of my Great League battles, and yeah, I love Shadow Hypno. And then we got Shadow Machamp. Shadow Machamp is also very meta, S tier Pokemon in both the Great League and in the Ultra League, especially in the Ultra League Premier Cup. At this time, the Ultra League Premier Cup is kind of dominated by XL Pokemon, and Shadow Machamp here is like the fighting force against them, so really good against all that stuff. And then when it comes to the Great League, its Rock Slide can take down a lot of flying type Pokemon. It gets to its charge moves very quickly. So yeah, definitely S tier, very meta Pokemon. Next up, we got Shadow Magnazone. And I'd say Shadow Magnazone rides the A to the B tier here. It doesn't have a whole lot of fast move damage, so a lot of the threat does come from the charge attacks. And the charge move combo it has going on is resistible enough by a lot of things, but I feel like it definitely wants to get that wild charge KO when it comes time for the wild charge KO. And I'd say it's definitely more useful than what the Shadow Evire is. So I'm going to say it's good to have. Good enough Pokemon. Next up, we got Shadow Mawile. And this thing rides the border between the B and the C tier for sure. And I think I'm going to give it a C tier ranking just because it doesn't have a whole lot over the normal Mawile. And Mawile is such an expensive Pokemon to build because it's basically like a raid exclusive Pokemon. So it is really annoying to build. So if you're going to build one of them, you have to make the choice. I'd probably side with the normal Mawile. And on top of that, normal Mawile has the potential to be a Mega Pokemon in the future as well. So you could get some cross utility there, maybe. So I'm going to put this guy in Meme Town. It's definitely has shown its value time and time again, especially on PokeAK's channel, more than the other Pokemon in Meme Town. Probably more than a lot of the Pokemon in the B tier, but I'm not exactly sold on Shadow Mawile. I guess if you have a TM event, let's give it B tier, useful enough. If there is a TM event, I guess it is useful to TM this guy for the future, in case you may want to use a Shadow Mawile for something. Let's give it B tier. Then we have Shadow Mewtwo. And this is Shadow Mewtwo for the Great League and the Ultra League. And I guess if you do have the IV spread to fit into the Great League with Shadow Mewtwo, you may as well go for it. It's not good. It's probably bad. But because it is Shadow Mewtwo and it is in the Great League and it does reach that size strike really, really quickly there, I'm going to put it into Meme Town. It can show up. It can do its stuff. It's a deadly enough Pokemon. But overall, probably not that great. Then we got Shadow Ninetales here, not the Alolan, Shadow normal Ninetales, and I'm gonna give it B tier. Useful enough to have. Under the right circumstances, it can work out pretty well. It worked out pretty well in those limited formats too. And then for Ultra League, it can be an aggressive enough Fire-type Pokemon compared to the other Fire-type Pokemon. So I'm going to give it B tier. Useful enough. Then we got Shadow Granbull. Shadow Granbull hasn't really shown its stuff out yet. It just released, so we're just doing simulation data on it right now. But from what the sims seem, I'm going to give it A tier. Definitely good to have one. It is more aggressive than the normal Granbull, and the whole point of using the Granbull is that the charm damage does more damage, so you can chonk things down that other charmers can't. And Shadow Granbull is just more aggressive than the normal Granbull. So I'm going to say it's good enough to have. If you ever want to use a Granbull, here's an even better one. I think this thing will be a really annoying force when it comes to the Ultra League and the Ultra League Premier Cup as well. So very decent Shadow Pokemon to have. Next up we got Shadow Kingdra. So I'm going to put it in B tier, useful enough. From what the simulations show right now, the lack of bulk compared to normal Kingdra definitely hurts it because you do want to reach your Oxzukas, you do want to reach your Outrages, and this one doesn't quite make it sometimes, but it is still a Kingdra, you know? So I feel like if we find out later that it's pretty dang good, it'll be nice to have one. So I'm going to give it B tier, useful enough. By the way, if you're wondering why some of these don't have the Shadow Aura, and I guess are out of the alphabetical order that we have going on, it's because GamePress hasn't updated their page with like the Shadow Aura yet, so they're definitely Shadow Pokemon, believe me on this. Next up we got Shadow Blaziken. Shadow Blaziken is good in raids, I can tell you that much for sure. But I'd say in PvP, definitely in Meme Town, I'd say it's probably bad because Blaziken is often pretty bad. But because it is more aggressive than Blaziken, and Blaziken is that glass cannon, I'm reaching charge moves quickly type Pokemon, I'm going to put it into Meme Town. I think it has potential, but that potential is yet to be realized, so definitely Meme Town. Then we got GOBattle, and GOBattle's definitely bad, but it's frickin' GOBattle. Shadow GOBattle. So Meme Town for sure, because this thing, you definitely want to use it to clown on your opponents, and it's got good resistances. Like Alola Marowak's got nothing on this thing, so I'm gonna put it squarely into Meme Town. Definitely not great, but it's freaking Shadow GOBattle, man. Total meme right there. Next up, we got Shadow Drapeon. I'm gonna give Shadow Drapeon a useful enough. I'd say it rides the border between useful enough and Meme Town. It actually could be bad. We don't know a whole lot about it, but what I do know about Drapeon is that it is an aggressive like Fang user in the Ultra League. It can take down the Giratinas and it can take down other big threats in the Ultra League just from the fast move spam damage. And then it has Aqua Tail for that early enough charge move, and then Crunch to kind of like fake people out who think they know what's going on with the Drapeon. So I think it's useful enough to have. Its true advantages or disadvantages have yet to be shown, but I think Drapeon is already borderline meta in the Ultra League, and I think the Shadow might be enough to push it ahead. We'll have to see. Then we got Shadow Polytode. If you've ever done PvP anything, yeah, you know it's very meta. Definitely up there. Maybe not as meta as the other guys, but definitely a potent threat there. It's got the earliest like activation charge move of like all Pokemon basically. It's like at that highest speed tier with the Weather Ball and the Mud Shot. So obviously doing that for even higher damage can be really annoying sometimes. So yeah, the main drawback is that you will have to use an Elite TM if you want to get Earthquake on it, but this guy can use Blizzard too pretty effectively. So yeah, I'd say very meta. Definitely a good Pokemon to have prepped here. Shadow Poliwrath. I'm going to give it B tier. Useful enough. It's not bad. It's not great. I'd say it's good enough to have one on standby. But if you get a good IV one, then you're probably going to want to go for Shadow Polytode before that. So it's useful enough. I don't really see a whole lot coming from it. You'd usually want the bulk from the normal Poliwrath, but it's good. Then next up we have Shadow Sableye. And man, if this video was made like before XL Candy came out, I'd say it's S tier, very meta, but I feel like it's fallen from grace, but it's still Shadow Sableye. So right now I'd probably put it B tier, like useful enough maybe, but it's Shadow Sableye, you know? So I'm going to say it's good to maybe have one TM'd on standby. You're definitely going to want to purify your better IV1, like your PvP IV1. You're definitely going to want to purify that so you can use the XL Sableye with the return, because that's like the best Sableye right now with the XL candy. And yeah, Shadow Sableye really wasn't keeping up with normal Sableye when the XL candy came out. But it's still Shadow Sableye, so I feel like it definitely has its place in the meta still. So I'd say it's good to have. Next up, we got Shadow Scizor. And Shadow Scizor is a tricky Pokemon. I'd say it rides the border between A and B. And I'd say it's good to have. Definitely good to have one. It has some tricky matchups that a lot of people might not be prepared for in both the Great League and in the Ultra League. And then it has Night Slash, so it always has the ability to get that Night Slash boost. So I think Shadow Scizor is definitely a Pokemon that you need to respect. And if you do have a good PvP IV1, it hits well in PvP, then yeah, I think I'd want to have one just at least TM'd on standby should I ever want to use it. Next up, we got Shadow Tangrowth. I haven't done any simulations on this thing, but right now people that I know that are smart about Pokemon Go are saying that it is, debatably better than normal Tangrowth is, a little bit more than normal Tangrowth is what I hear. So I'm going to say it's good to have. Good to have one, because Tangrowth is a pretty aggressive Pokemon. I think in the Premier Cup Ultra League, the thing that holds it back is that it just misses some KOs, and being a Shadow Pokemon can allow it to miss less often. So I'm going to give it A tier. Next up, we got Shadow Slowbro. Shadow Slowbro here does have like the same kind of effect as as this guy does, but I feel like it's not as good. I'm going to give it Meme Town, because I feel like normal Slowbro is, it really wants its bulk for a lot of the jobs in the Premier Cup Ultra League there. And I don't feel like Shadow Slowbro is doing anything a whole lot better because it is less tanky. But it's probably not terrible. So I'm gonna put it squarely into the Meme Town here. Then we got Shadow Shiftry. I'm gonna give it A tier, good to have, because normal Shiftry is definitely a really good, really aggressive Pokemon. I'd say more often than not, the increased bulk of normal Shiftry puts it ahead of Shadow Shiftry, but I think it's good enough to have, because that extra shadow damage coming off of like a really quick Leaf Blade or a Foul Play, definitely a aggressive, dangerous Pokemon. I'm going to give it A tier. Shadow Skarmory. I feel like Skarmory really does enjoy having its bulk. So if I had to make the choice between all the A tier Pokemon and Skarmory, I'd probably say Skarmory is useful enough, B tier. It's one of the top Great League Pokemon, but it definitely wants to have that bulk, so B tier. Then we got Skunk Tank. Skunk Tank, also B tier. It's useful enough, that aggressive poison jab damage. It reaches the crunch early enough. I think it's a good to have Pokemon. Then we got Shadow Snorlax. Yeah, definitely A tier, very meta Pokemon, especially in the Ultra League. Just the increased lick damage and damage off the body slams and the charge moves can allow it to do some things that normal Snorlax can't. I'd say when it comes to it and normal Snorlax, they are neck and neck. One isn't strictly better than the other, but they just kind of do different things ever so slightly. So definitely a really good Pokemon to have, especially if you got a good PvP IV, of course. We're down to the final 7 here. We got Shadow Suicune. I'd say Shadow Suicune's definitely in Meme Town. I see it come up a lot in the PvPoke rankings as being pretty good, but it's got Bubble Beam, and when I check like the matchups, it's like perfectly baiting with Bubble Beam and then it's landing Hydro Pump, but I don't think it happens often enough in reality. I haven't seen Shadow Suicune do anything really terrifying to me in PvP. I'm going to put it into Meme Town. We got Shadow Swampert. It's Swampert, man. Yeah, S tier, very meta Pokemon. And then if it has bad IVs because it's a Shadow Pokemon, it doesn't have the perfect rank 1 IVs going on, it doesn't matter because then you get CMP over the other Swamperts there. So yeah, definitely S tier Pokemon for sure. Not strictly better than normal Swampert, but definitely a very, very good Pokemon to have. Then we got Shadow Torterra. And I'm going to say as far as Razor Leafers go, the ground subtyping does give it something more than what they have going on, but I'm going to put it into Meme Town. It's good. It's definitely, it has proven itself. You can check out a video on my channel. I think we're using normal Torterra there, so Shadow Torterra a little bit more aggressive than the normal Torterra on the Razor Leaf. I think out of all the Razor Leafers, Grotel takes a priority. Victory Bell obviously takes a priority there, but then after those two, we're looking at Grotel, or Torterra. Did I call it Grotel the whole time? Torterra. We're looking at Torterra. Then we got Shadow Venusaur. And it definitely does some things normal Venusaur can't, but it's definitely not as a priority as the other S tier Pokemon are. I think it's a good like side grade, so I'm going to give it A tier for sure. Definitely an A tier Shadow Pokemon. You do want to like Elite TM it or wait for the evolution event so you can get Frenzy Plant on it, so that does also kind of hold it back resource management wise. I didn't mention that for Swampert because it's freaking Swampert, and Swampert is so meta. But yeah, Shadow Venusaur on the other hand though, I'm going to give it A tier. Then we got Shadow Victory Bell, and I'm gonna give it S tier, very meta. It's definitely not as meta as the other meta Pokemon are, but it's Shadow Victory Bell. It is the integral component of the Grass Hole combo. You know, Bastiodon with Shadow Victory Bell, and then usually another Razor Leafer that's a Shadow Pokemon, or sometimes people use Deoxys Defense Form or something else alternative to throw people off. But this is the core member of that super annoying team, so I'm going to say you're definitely going to want to get one if you don't already have one, like 100%. Shadow Vileplume, I'm going to put it into Meme Town. That might not feel so fair compared to the other, you know, Shadow Grass types, but when it comes to PvPoke based simulations, when I'm checking out like the 1-0 shield situation on a lot of different Pokemon, this sometimes does end up being the Shadow Razor Leafer that can overcome something specific in the 1-0. Like, I've just seen it come up often enough in that situation when I'm going through like big swaths of like PvPoke simulations. So probably not that great at the end of the day, especially compared to like other Shadow Razor Leafers like these two. But like, it's coming up enough in simulation. I think there's a little bit more going on with it than the other two, I guess, evolutions of Oddish here. Like, as far as the Oddish evolutions go, this one's gonna be it. You could just TM an Oddish and wait too for your like own conclusions, I guess. But yeah, I don't know, this guy stands out a bit. And then finally we have Shadow Zapdos, and man, if I made this video before Galar Stunfisk came out, I'd say it's probably A tier, maybe S tier, but Galar Stunfisk is everywhere. It's in the Ultra League meta now too, so this thing just shuts it down like entirely to the nth degree, and it is a very, very meta Pokemon. So I'm going to say B tier, useful enough. It's good enough where you're going to want to have one. If there's a limited format where like Galar Stunfisk isn't around, I think this thing will definitely show up. So yeah, B tier, useful enough to have on standby, but definitely not a higher meta Pokemon. And there we have it, guys. The Shadow Pokemon tier list for the Great League and in the Ultra League. Link in the description to this tier list maker if you think you've got a better Shadow Pokemon tier list than I do. Once again, I don't have a lot of experience with every single one of these Shadow Pokemon, so my opinions may be a bit off on one thing or another there. If you do think I'm, discounting one Shadow or another, let me know in the comments. If there's any Shadow Pokemon I didn't include on this, like I tried to grab the ones that looked good enough, so if there's any Shadow Pokemon that I'm doing dirty here, like Shadow Shuckle, come on Ryan Swag, where is Shadow Shuckle on this tier list? Well, let me know in the comments, and maybe in the future I'll update this, or at the very least I'll update the tier list on tiermaker.com or whatever, tiermaker.com, that is the name, to have it. At any rate, I hope you enjoyed this content. If you have any questions on it, comment below, let me know what's up, and I'll be happy to help you out. And if you haven't subscribed to Swag Tips already, well, hit that subscribe button, please. Just do it. Swag Tips. I'd also like to give a special shout out to these Patreon supporters. If you want to support Swagman on Patreon, link in the description. Then we got Shadow Dragonite. I'm going to say Yeah.